Gimbal? There it goes. Pop it out. Wow. Just for me. Hello, critters. Michael, Radioactive, and Stan Lee. Now, what am I breaking? Good morning. What did I do with that little box? Right here. Yipper, Sunday it came back on. What the hell? Well, that works. Hello, Joe. Mike makes some builds. Yeah, I made one mistake. I left this box of rocket parts in the minivan all winter. And, yeah, well, a lot of these parts warped. That sucks. Including that real nice sleek rocket I wanted to fly. Yeah, they're all warped. No good. Can't use them. Use all the thin fins. Got all warped up. Because I'm a dummy and left them out in the van all winter. I could probably force these on here, but I might never get them off again if I do. Yeah, I knew better too. I knew it was going to happen. I forgot about them, and so I'm gonna have to reprint those fins. They're all just a little warped. Most of these will just cause them to spin. All I do is I want to get some of these prepped for flight so I can actually fly some 3D printed rockets this weekend. Boy, that's tight. I don't think I have to worry about that going anywhere. Just got to make sure these parts stay put when it launches and it doesn't disassemble itself in midair. Got to put launch lugs on them. I finally started 3D printing my own launch lugs. So that's what slides over the rail to make it fly straight. Hello, Pygar. Yeah, I discovered a neat little trick too, where when I print parts like this, I bevel the hole that the tube slides through. That actually does two things. It allows me to slide the part onto the tube easier, but it also I don't think I got any good food deals this week. What did I get? No, no real good food deals, just normal prices. Nothing exotic. But that bevel also creates a little pocket between the part and the tube, and that pocket's perfect for glue. It hides the glue joint, so you can see the glue joint is very well hidden now. There's no like fillet or anything. And it increases the contact patch between the tube and the part, so better adhesion in theory. Thankfully, printing new fins will be pretty fast. Come on. Now, this one's a little trickier. I've got to make sure that this part does not remove itself. So these tubes are glassine tubes, so there's like a glossy coating on top of the tube. Keeps the tubes neat, keeps them from unraveling, etc. So I have to scrape off a little bit of that glassine to make sure the glue can get to the paper underneath. Yep, we're making rockets. We're preparing rockets. Because tomorrow I leave for NSL. So National Sport launches this weekend. And it's only 4 hours from here up in Alamoso, Colorado. So I'm going to go. I haven't been to a rocket launch in, it's got to be, what, 4 years now? 5 years? So now the glue can seep into the paper and create a proper bond. So that the motor retention can actually do its job and make sure that motor stays put. So now the motor goes in here, and then the cap threads on top of that. This one might not fit. Nope, I don't think that one fits. I need this one. There we go. And now that will hold the motor in place, because the motor can't get past this opening here, in theory. Everything's 3D printed except for the tubes. So as you can see, like this one here, this part here is a paper tube, but all these parts are 3D printed. The nose cone, the tail cone, launch lugs, centering rings if there is any, motor retention if there is any. Even the fins are 3D printed. I got to reprint these because they're all warped. But those slot into here and pop in there like that. I make centering rings. So the centering rings adapt one size tube to another size tube. So for example, the rocket that I fly on this size tube, this is the centering ring that adapts from this size tube to the 29mm tube that goes in the middle that you launch it on. And then you have a nose cone, and that fits on top. And you put it all together and you have a rocket. No, I don't make my own engines. These use black powder and ammonium perchlorate. So same stuff as the space shuttle. And this one's jammed. I think it got too hot. Where are those pliers at? I don't need this stupid little ring. That actually might not be a bad idea when I'm on the field. Engines range from, A and B engines all the way up to, H and I and J and K engines. Why is this on here so tightly? I'm thinking about trying to, but I keep forgetting how big the West Coast is. um, you know, I'm one state away from LDRS 39, and it's still a 12-hour drive. Ugh. Yeah, wonder why that was so tight. And then for the regular rockets, where I don't need to have the big wide cap, I have a compact set up here. So that's nice, light, and compact. The way this works is that you would just take this piece here. There's your tube. Your engine goes in here. So I still have to put a stop block inside to keep the engine from going all the way through, unless the engine has a thrust ring. If it has a thrust ring, then you don't need that. But oh yeah, they'll definitely be big rockets. NSL and LDRS are basically mostly big rockets. So I'll be coming home with a lot of pictures. Hello, Jamie. So the idea is this part here, the motor can pass through. So this just glues onto your body tube. And then this here, that hole the motor cannot pass through. It's a little smaller. And so this just threads right on. And now you don't have to worry about launch hooks. You can just take it, you just unthread this, pop your motor out, get your next motor ready to fly, and pop your new motor in, thread it back on, and now you're ready to fly again. And then this side here, this style is for rockets that need that. Nice, good for you. That's a big project. For those who aren't aware, it's basically free-for-all up to G engines. But after G engines, basically the rockets are illegal. You can't fly anything larger than a G engine legally, without basically a permit, kind of. So we are self-regulating and self-permitting. So each rocketry organization that's recognized has their own programs for approval. Well, that did warp a little bit. And so level 1, you just got to fly a level 1 rocket successfully and you're approved. And then level 2, you got to take a small test. Very easy, 25 questions, you take a test. And then you successfully fly a level 2 rocket without damage and you're approved. Level 3, a little more advanced, and your project has to get approved. So, a group of experienced rocketeers will basically guardianship you and approve your rocket, make sure you're, doing everything right, make sure you know what you're doing. Because, you're talking about launching something that could kill people. 100 pounds of rocket comes out of the sky and lands on someone. Or, crashes through the roof of somebody's car or building, so you gotta, you want to be safe, So this year, NSL is nice and close to me, close enough that I think I can afford it. It's going to be about $400 for the hotel room, plus food and all that crap, and gas, and I already paid for the event, $50 for the event membership and all that stuff. So, hopefully, have some fun, take some pictures. I was hoping a few more of these rockets would be ready to go. Here's my standard MRS rocket kit. This nose cone needs to be reprinted. It's totally warped. But, that's the basic idea. So here's your fin can, your 4 fins, your motor retention. This part gets glued in. That's your motor tube. That's what the motor gets installed into. As you see, the shroud line here is attached. I don't know. I don't know what the laws are regarding guns in Texas. So that we will glue on there today. Actually, and then I gotta reprint this nose cone, and then it gets attached. Your parachute goes inside there. So inside here is your little parachute, so that you can fly the rocket again. That's a super simple one. Just a basic kit. But 3D printing, come on. Seriously? You gotta keep pulling it off the table. You can't just leave it alone. But 3D printing lets me create warped square rockets. This is all warped up. This might actually still be flyable. There might be enough left of this to I can still fly it. It's relatively straight. I just got to print new fins for it. But, yeah. Although that feels a little tail heavy. Maybe not. Well, it depends on what motor. Might have to add some nose weight to the nose. But, yeah, that got all warped up. Interestingly enough, the hexagonal rocket did not get warped up. This is a long one. And this is a short one. Just to experiment. But for whatever reason, this didn't get warped up. It held its shape. I'm not entirely sure why. We could put altimeters in them. So this here is a little altimeter. Can you see that? There it goes. There you go. So you stick that in a rocket and it'll tell you how high, how fast, where apogee was, how much acceleration, stuff like that. Pretty cool. So you strap that to your shock cord and you can get that data out of your flight. And they make even smaller ones. They just don't have screens. These didn't hold up quite so well. At least the smaller number of fin count ones didn't hold up as well. The higher fin count ones like this held up fine. What I really want to do is make, I'd like to eventually make this threaded. So that, see right now, to assemble this, I have to glue this part into this part. This has to be permanently glued together. And once it's glued together, that's it. You're pretty much done. I'd like to have this have a thread on it, and then this have a thread on it, so the fin can actually threads into the rocket, so the rocket could be completely disassembled and reassembled, colors changed, parts replaced if they're broken. It'd be pretty neat if I could figure out how to do that. So that's something I want to try to work on. The problem is every time you add more complexity, you add more mass. So you gotta be careful not to make it too heavy. If you make it too heavy, well, it gets harder and harder to fly. For a rocket like this, no big deal. But for a higher performance rocket, that could become a big deal if you make the rocket too heavy. So let's get some glue on this. A little too much glue. Just gotta make sure that's straight. And this is accelerator. You hit it with this and it basically dries instantaneously. And there. Now it's dry to touch. Now these I don't have to glue in because they're a tight fit, so they don't wiggle. And these click into place. This is the E2X style that Estee's made. Someone asked me to replicate it, so I did. So those just click into place. But my design's a little different. It's vase mode printable, of course. So that's another click one. Here we go. So you see mine have a channel. So instead of the fin, do I have any I can show you? I just take one out of here. So this one here you can see has a like a socket. So they click into place like that, and then they lock in like that. While mine are a little bit different. Oh, here we go. There's one. And then mine use a shape. So if I can show you that. There you go. See? So that shape fits into this shape. So I can do something crazy, for example, like put 12 fins on a rocket or something like that. Just because I can, you know, why not? Yeah, that's the cool thing about 3D printing is it lets you do wacky, crazy stuff like that. So I can just go crazy and just keep adding fins to a rocket for as many as I can fit. See, there's two black ones. There's a third one, and a fourth one. Do I have a fourth one that color? No, I don't. So I'll have to have one odd man out. I have two of these, though. If that'll work. There we go. So how many is that? 4, 8, 12. That's 12 pins. So that's kind of crazy. Yeah, why not? You know, when you're 3D printing it, it costs basically no difference in price to go from this to this. So you can do crazy, wacky things like that that you normally can't do, or not easily. You know, gluing 12 fins onto a rock would be a bit of a pain in the butt for a youngster. But when all you got to do is slide the fins in and you're done, it's pretty cool. Let's see, will this fit? Nope, too tight. Maybe. I work it. Eventually, yes. I'm eventually going to sell kits. I think Eli's a little more advanced. If you guys want to see some really cool rocket videos, check out BPS. A guy named Joe Barnard. He actually makes 3D printed thrust vectoring rockets. So his rockets don't need fins at all. He actually gimbals the motor to keep the rocket stable, just like the real ones do. The big ones. So yeah, he does some pretty advanced stuff. Eventually, I'm going to make these designs available. Once I get them to the point where anybody can print them without it and have it work properly, I'll make them available. There we go. A little tight, but it goes. Yeah, he does some amazing stuff. He did a full Falcon Heavy stack. So the 3 engines, the 2 peel off, and his goal is to land one. He wants to use rocket propulsion, rocket retro propulsion to land one, just like a Falcon 9 does. He hasn't quite got it yet. He's gotten so freaking close, you can taste it. I mean, it's like, oh my God, he's gotten so close. Yep. I can't reach it. I can't reach the alarm. sometimes they're a little tight and you gotta melt the plastic a little bit, basically wear it down by putting the part on and off until it fits right. I'm still tweaking the design so that we don't have to do that. I'd like it to just work for people. Uh-oh, it gets stuck on there now. There it goes. Hello, Anthony. Let's get this glued on. All right, let's wait for that to dry. And a little bit of glue in here. And yes, I already tried the duct tape on a broom to try to twist the alarm off and pop it off. Didn't work. Whatever amount of force it takes to turn it, it wasn't sufficient. I don't have that much interest in guns. Guns are fascinating. They're interesting. You know, I have a 22 pistol and I have a shotgun, but otherwise, you know, the one was a gift and the other one was an heirloom from my great grandmom. But otherwise, not that into rocket. Not that into guns. They're expensive. Hello, Timothy from Roswell. Gotta be careful I don't jam it on there. That's a little 12-fin rocket. Ooh, that's on there good. That might not come off. That one's tight, but it's moving. Why is it so tight? See, the problem is if it's too loose, it could shear the mounts. Yeah, that sounds like a good way to get in trouble. I see that one's jammed on there now. And I get little rolls of Kevlar for the shock cord. 22 is not much lighter than a 9mm or 38. It's still a big chunk of metal. Hello, Ragnar. Like that, Ragnar? Man, that's on there tight. Oh, this one's warped. I might not be able to install a fin on this one. Ah, I did. Well, at least it's resilient. It's warping it pretty bad, but it's holding. Oh, there's another one. Might as well get this thing going because I want to be able to print some parts. Why does that look warped? Just, it is a little bit. It's because this is warped. I'm saved it for that. Do you have wax candle? I probably have some wax candles somewhere, but I don't trust wax in this type of house. I was thinking that would be interesting to, overfly top secret places using remote control airplanes. So we're gonna have jamming and range. I was thinking, well, first of all, you put a rocket in it so it goes fast. Uh-oh. Why are we having problems? No, CPU's at 30%. Shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, that's YouTube's end. Because I'm getting an error saying YouTube is not receiving enough frames, enough video information. But I am only at 29% CPU, so that's not me. Oh, now that's interesting. I would think it would add to the space in between and make it worse, but I guess I can see it being a lubricant. Yeah, now it came back. The error just went away and it says healthy again. So there's a bottleneck somewhere on the internet, somewhere between me and YouTube. I'll definitely give it a try. Thank you, Mark. Now, one thing I didn't try, I could try putting a blob of hot glue on the end of one of these, sticking it to the smoke alarm, wait until it hardens, and then give it a rotate. It all depends on how well it sticks to this kind of plastic. Not this one, because I can always use a wooden handle, but the other end, the smoke alarm itself, what kind of plastic it's made out of. Although, in a week or so, I'm going to have those beds out of there, and I'll be able to set up a step ladder. Right now, there's this much space between the beds and the shelving, the racks against the wall. So enough for me to walk by, but not enough for me to set up a step stool to go up and get it. Someone my weight, you can't just jerry-rig a step stool. It has to be a proper little 4-foot ladder that I can step on that I know will hold me. And that ladder takes up too much space. I'm too heavy for... I can't just put a bucket there and step on it. I'm definitely going to try that. All right, let's see if this filament will come out without breaking. Yes, it did. Sometimes when you leave a piece of PLA in there for a while, it becomes really, really brittle when it goes to come out. And I just dropped it. I'll have to get that before the cat gets it. Well, I couldn't figure out why sometimes in the morning the cats aren't hungry. It's like, I know they gotta be hungry. Why aren't they eating? Yeah, they've been tearing into the cat food bags. I just found that one. They tore a hole in it last night. I just brought it in last night. Oh, yeah. Those cats are itching for an ass kicking. It's because they want more food and I won't give it to them because I don't want fat cats. Those cats will not be fatzos like me. There we go. Well, actually, I got more food than I normally would keep in stock of the dry food. I have a brass bucket that I put the food in. These are just PLA, which is not ideal. Well, it's ideal for being cheap, but the problem is PLA warps in heat. So where are you when you fly a rocket? You're out in the middle of a hot field in a hot car. So you got to be careful not to let the parts get too hot. Exactly. I would fall straight through it. I mean, best case scenario, I slice up my legs as the jagged plastic tears me apart. You know? I also want to make a mount for this. This is that Insta360 Go-To camera. So this is that new, real nice little camera. So I want to. I found a 3D model of this on Thingiverse. So I want to use that to model. Yeah, I'm getting bad bit rate again. And I'm dropping frames again. And it's not CPU. I'm at 26%. So there's something wrong with the internet. Still wonderful. YouTube's probably going to throw up an error in a minute. Yeah, this actually has a thing on it that says drop frames 5.6%, and it's going between orange and red. Sure, then got to carry the bucket. Well, see, the difference is heat soak. So the heat doesn't. Now, if I have this rocket on the pad and I have this too close to the deflector plate, yes, the rocket's exhaust will bounce off the deflector plate and melt the entire bottom of this rocket. But if I have a standoff, you're okay. The heat of the motor itself doesn't affect the plastic because the motor only burns for a quarter of a second to 3 or 4 seconds. So it's not burning long enough for that heat to propagate outside the motor, through the paper casing, through the paper motor tube, and through the plastic. It's not enough to damage anything. That's partially why I use a paper tube here instead of a plastic tube, because plastic would be heavier. But yeah, it's going to be. Yeah, it's telling me not enough data again. And now my drop frames are skyrocketing. I am connected to 5 gigahertz, right? Yes. Okay. Now it's good again. Just went green. Up. Just went red. Yeah, it dropped to 600 kilobits, 750 kilobits. It's starting to go back up. Nope, 900, 700. I don't know what the hell's going on. And it's not the computer. We're only at 27% CPU cycle usage. 0. It just dropped to 0 for a second there. Yay. I might have to try rebooting the router and modem. Audio doesn't take as much. No microwaves. And I'm using 5 gigahertz to prevent that from being a problem. The problem is if I try rebooting it, I don't know if it'll be able to continue the same stream or if it will try to start a brand new stream. It's getting pretty bad though. And I don't know if it's the modem and Comcast or if it's my router. Oh, it's 0.1, you idiot. All right, it's not getting better. I'm gonna attempt to reboot the router. I'm gonna leave OBS open in the hopes that it'll just reconnect the stream when it comes back. So give me a moment while I reboot.